Welcome to a new series of Spotlight videos. Now, this is a special series of interviews around demystifying tech trends. So we'll be looking at, busting buzzwords, concerned about puzzling parlance, techie terminology, or plain old jargon. So this series breaks down words and concepts to give you the deepest insight and understanding in how to talk in the world of tech. So you can engage in conversations with the confidence of being data literate. And the first of these is around hybrid clouds. And I'm lucky enough to have with me now a person who knows everything there is to know about hybrid clouds, and that's Adam Mayer. Welcome, Adam. Welcome to this Spotlight series.
Excellent. Thank you, John. Great to be here.
Yeah, and great to have you here. So what is hybrid cloud?
What is hybrid cloud? Good idea. So first of all, I think the thing with these kind of terms and these kind of buzzwords, I know we're trying to keep them simple, but there's no real standard definition for the term hybrid cloud. So maybe if we just start with the definition of hybrid in its sort of simplest terms, it normally means it's a combination of something or a mixture of one or two things or maybe a little bit more. So when we talk in terms of cloud in the technology world, it can mean different things for different folks. But probably an important kind of grounding to understand first is the notion of the different type of clouds that are out there before you start combining them. So we have public clouds and we have private clouds. So maybe if we just talk a little bit about those first. So public clouds hopefully should be quite straightforward. So if you're already a user of email, maybe you're using Gmail, maybe you're still using Hotmail or Microsoft Office 365, those kind of things, you're already using public cloud. So this is a cloud that's kind of owned by a vendor. So it could be Microsoft, it could be Amazon, it could be Google. Those are kind of like the top cloud vendors most people think of when you talk cloud, and it's publicly available to people. So for want of an analogy, if you think about apartment blocks, for example, you don't necessarily need to worry about when you come into, if you live in an apartment block, the lifts are hopefully always going to be working, someone else is maintaining them. You don't need to worry about when you go into your house, the lights are on, you can turn the lights on, and all the running water, heating, electricity, all that kind of stuff is kind of managed for you to a degree in terms of those services coming in. So public cloud is very much like that. Is someone takes that maintenance on board, and you're just a consumer of the services that they provide that are out in the cloud. So it makes life a lot easier. When you talk about private cloud, it's kind of like the other way around. So it's actually you own the services and you're responsible for delivering those services and maintaining them. So that would be more akin to like a company-owned building. So large enterprises typically tend to have their own private clouds as well. So if you work in a kind of big, large enterprise, you need some sort of key card to get in. So someone sort of operates that. They got the security, and again, they keep the lights on, the heating, and all that kind of stuff. But they're responsible for doing it. They own it, as it were. So private cloud tends to be the companies that are operating some form of services. They build the services that are cloud-based, and they're responsible for all the infrastructure that's behind that, keeping it running, making sure it hasn't run out of disk space, making sure it can cope with more and more people using it and all that kind of stuff. So they're two different worlds owned by two different sides, if you like. So public cloud, readily available. You share it with kind of share the resources, shall we say, behind it. You can have data in public cloud. It's important to say that is kind of still kept private and secure to you, but the resources are shared across many people. And private cloud tends to, the benefits of doing that, you can keep it sort of relative to just who's in the building, if you like, and have in theory more control, but then there's a lot of more work behind it in terms of maintaining it and cost of operating, all that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of two worlds out there in terms of cloud. And another important thing to state is that what makes something cloud is very simply, if you can just access the service and run it without installing anything except for just having a browser, then you can say something is cloud-based. So it's then whether it lives in a public cloud or private cloud. And then when we come to hybrid cloud, what is it with that in mind? It's that kind of a combination of a meeting of those two worlds working together and working seamlessly. So there'd be a mixture of public cloud, it could be a mixture of private cloud, and it can also, most typical example or common definition that people tend to lean on is having something on premise. So typically it's data or services that are running on premise. It could be a private cloud, or it could just be kind of a server underneath someone's desk. Not that anybody does that anymore. And also using some form of public cloud. So you've got data and processes and things like that run out in the cloud. And then those two worlds are coming together seamlessly. And from a user perspective, if it works in the right way, you shouldn't notice any kind of difference.
So why would a company want to have hybrid cloud? Why would they use it?
Yeah, why would they use it? So just building on that first example of having something on premise, there's always going to be some reason for organizations to have data that absolutely positively cannot leave the room, particularly around federal and government, public sector, that kind of stuff, healthcare. There's lots of reasons why there's some data that would have to rely or stay on premise. Also, it's a kind of progression. It's a journey as people build out and modernize their strategies. Cloud is pretty much at the heart of that. So it can take some time. So there's also that kind of period of transition, if you like, is that the old world is we've done everything kind of on premise, if you like, managing it ourselves. But now we want to take advantage of the cloud. Typically saves costs, but obviously, you obviously got security and scale in the mix as well. So it can also add that extra layer of kind of flexibility and allow organizations to kind of work a little bit more agile and transition out to the cloud as well. So you've got that sort of flexibility, agility in there as well. And another thing is it avoids kind of vendor lock-in as well, is that there are lots of different services out there. I mentioned those three big hyperscalers we work with a lot. So that's Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And they offer lots of different services, lots of different advantages, but some organizations might want to pick and choose what they want to use out there, as well as what they've got running on premise potentially. So it could be that typical example of something running on premise in their own organization that they have to manage, something running out there, and another cloud vendor as well. And that can also be called multi-cloud as well for another buzzword. So it's pretty much the same thing, I would say. As soon as there's more than one cloud vendor, you have multiple clouds running. So you don't necessarily have to put all your eggs in one basket. You can take advantage of kind of the best solution, or the solution that works for you in terms of what you want to do out there.
Well, hopefully that's helped then to debunk these words that we're all too often putting out there and confusing people. I think we do it on purpose. So, Adam, thank you so much. And also this video interview here is part of a blog, isn't it? If people haven't gone there already, where can they find the blog?
Yeah, that's right. So we've kind of backed it up in words. So it's a blog series. I've called it Little White Fluffy Clouds, because we're talking about clouds, and I like the orb, so I made a reference there. And that is available on our corporate blog site. So if you just head over to click.com, click the blog section, you can look for me as the author, Adam Mayer. I'm in the global product marketing team, and you can read that blog and many others that are out there as well.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of good content, and there'll be more of these videos to do the same thing that we're doing here. So look out for them. There'll be more coming along. So thank you, Adam, so much for spending some time debunking these words that are out there with your Little Fluffy Clouds blog.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, John.